बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि.
The title of this retreat is Meditation for Spiritual Transformation and Emotional Healing. And I would like to speak a little bit about healing, and then we will talk more about meditation tomorrow. When we talk about healing, we think of hurts, wounds, and human beings are by nature emotional, and it's very easy for us to get emotionally hurt. I'm sure most of you have been hurt by the behavior of others or circumstances. And it is good for us to see the root of our pain. If you were to find an effective solution, we need to see the cause of our pain and cause of our suffering, and the root of our pain and root of our suffering and root of our unhappiness. We are communal beings. We live with other people, family members, friends, and co-workers. We are constantly interacting with people. We can't escape that. But I'm sure most of you have been hurt by the behavior of others. And some of you might be holding so much pain because of that. Being hurt by other people is just a small part, one part. But also the pain comes from many other emotions. A loneliness is very painful. Nobody is doing anything to you. But if you are really lonely and feel that loneliness, that can even lead you to depression. Not having enough fulfillment in life, sensual fulfillment, sexual fulfillment, if you are deprived of sexual fulfillment, you can be crazy. You can be depressed. Nobody is doing anything to you to hurt you, but you're being hurt by not being able to fulfill certain basic human needs. And that pain can create so much emotional turmoil, and that can lead you to either depression or a very painful life. So, part of it is we have to understand, as we interact with people, their behavior has affected us. And as a result, we are in pain, or we are suffering, or we are unhappy. And the other side is that certain aspects of our own selves that are struggling to find its full expression or full fulfillment or full meaning, is lacking, and because of that there is a struggle. Now, when we think about pain, I'm sure if I ask you to, how many of you have been hurt by other people? I'm sure all of you, you have been hurt by other people. But again, what we're trying to do is to come to the root of it. When you say, you hurt me, it's very important for you to pay attention to that. Part of the solution is the realistic awareness of the problem. Right? So, when you say, well, she hurt me, or she lied to me, she mistreated me, or she did that, or he did this to me. So, the pain that has resulted from somebody's behavior, and usually in your mind it is that this person is continuing to hurt you, cause pain or suffering to you. So when you come closer, you can see nothing and nobody is hurting you. It is not possible for anybody to hurt you. Now we are going beyond these apparent social values and apparent or accepted beliefs of common sense, respect, or interactions and communications and things like that. We are going deeper into the root of this. When you go to the root of it, somebody's behavior triggered an emotion in you, and this emotion radiated a huge dose of energy, and it burnt into your brain. Now in your memory, anytime this memory is surfaced and this feeling rises in you, and you feel that pain. But the thing is this, whoever did that to you in the past, go on and living happily somewhere and enjoying life. But what disturbs me is what I'm holding on. It's not because I'm bad or I'm wrong. It's simply what emotionally happens to us. And especially painful experiences get burned into our memory, and then it's easily accessible, and it becomes a trigger point where any small thing can trigger this pain, and you can just feel anxious or angry or sad or miserable, right? So nobody caused you this pain. It is the intensity of the anxiety that rose within you, and the emotion that rose within you is what created this memory in you and the feelings in you. And now the memory is connected to the feeling, and the feeling rises sometimes as a trigger, and sometimes you have access to it. You will be able to easily access that pain. So the thing is, now we are coming to see if the pain, emotional pain, is a result of something that arose within me, something that shaped within me, I need to come closer to myself and go within in order to release it, heal it, move beyond it. And when we are hurt by other people, said, for example, somebody can speak a bad word to you and you feel really hurt, and you said, you hurt me. But it is true, but the intensity of the pain that you experience is constantly shaped by the intensity of the anxiety and negativity that you produce within you. It's not necessarily you produce it. Especially you are generally an unhappy person, something gets triggered, then you can give as much dose as needed to that event and emotions. And to that much you experience pain. The depth of pain always has to do with the amount of energy that is being released as you react to that from within. Right? So it is very simple to understand if you really look at it. I'm not a psychologist, I just talk about mindfulness and how through observation you will be able to understand this cause and effect relationship of your pain and your suffering, and because we are looking for solutions, right? So the intensity of the pain and the duration of the pain all has to do with what happens within you. If you are basically a good grounded person who has a peaceful sense of self-awareness, and somebody can speak very insultful words and it may not have much residue in you left, and you may not get hurt by that, and you may stay calm. And that's why many people say, somebody died and you should feel sad. If you don't feel sad, it is wrong. But we don't look at it that way. If you are not feeling sad as a result of wise attitude about death and deep awareness of the reality of death, and you're not disturbed by it, I think you are in good control and you're not going to hurt. You don't need to release anything. Some people might say you need to release it somehow because your mother died. We assume that when bad things happen, we must feel pain. And if you don't feel pain, you have to find a way to figure it out, to find it and release it. It's not necessarily true always. Because, I see some of my teachers, for example, who are spiritually more matured and in control, and they're not in pain. When I remember one of my teachers have a silent day once a week. And he was having the silent day. I was very young at the time, I was 15. And that particular day was my day to serve him meals, because he doesn't come out of the room, he meditates. His main student that he loved so much was in Singapore, and he had an accident and he had died. So we wrote a note on the paper, on the thing, on a paper, telling that your student has passed and this and that, and we need your advice for that. So put the tray with the food, and he read the message, and he wrote a message in that and said, all things are impermanent, and do what is necessary. I'll come when I finish my retreat. Completely at peace with it, and he knows if you come and run and you can't do anything, and everybody is fully capable of handling it, but remaining in that place of peace, relating to that person from that place of peace and blessing is the best you could do. It is a higher level of relating to somebody, not in more of an emotional realm, but beyond emotion, right? So we really then begin to see that how we are going to come. As we see that pain, we understand the root cause of our suffering. It is either result of a repetitive behavior that trigger this feeling from the memory, or we simply dwell in that state because there are certain people who are always sad, and they dwell in that state because maybe somebody's son died or husband died, and they will say, my husband died or son died. Yes, it is true, that is what happens outside. But what is happening inside is that my emotions have spinned out of control, and I have been dragged into this state of sadness, and I'm being stuck in that state of sadness. It's not going to do any good to anybody, but I'm there, right? So when we talk about solution, And we can go on talking about this and these aspects, and there are other aspects as well. And we are not blaming ourselves for being in that state. We are not blaming ourselves for feeling sad or being depressed or being unhappy. And we are going to say, well, if this is the thing that makes me unhappy, I need to change this, and I'm going to change this. So in our Buddhist technique, Buddhist meditation practices, we don't say, okay, bring in some pillows and let's beat the pillows and scream and cry and it will go away. We don't believe that, because any emotion, when repeated, the foundation of that emotion becomes stronger, because you get the same chemical rush, and because of that you're going to feel the same emotion, the foundation of that emotion. Because when you can get angry anytime. When you get angry, what happens? You get tensed, you get stressed, you get anxious, and you can beat up a pillow and that anxiety gets released and you feel good. You feeling good not because whatever is in the memory is gone. You feeling good because whatever now I generated now is free, because I feel sad and angry and I get tensed and then I release it in the moment. It's a momentary relief. And so when you think about neuropsychology or brain chemicals and things like that, the same thing, that the neural pathways that are there apparently get stronger when you repeat a behavior. And so it becomes harder for you to break it, right? So we talk about so the problem, if it is within us, we want to find tools to turn attention to ourselves, and what we call sati. Sati means alertness or awareness or paying attention to or being conscious of is sati. We use the word sati. And sati has 4 aspects or 4 areas, because some bad things happen out there, now I'm totally miserable and I can't control my thoughts, and I'm sad or I'm unhappy or I'm miserable or I'm depressed. Something bad happened there. But whatever happened there is nothing there anymore, because it's gone, it's finished, it's past, it's history. But now I have to deal with the memory and the anxiety that is being produced by that emotion when it gets triggered by memory, right? So this, we are talking about 4 ways that we will be able to achieve a perfect healing process. And first is called Kaya Anupassana, which means that our emotions always get strength, get food from physical tension or physical stress. When you're really angry, some people say, okay, sit down, take a deep breath, slowly breathe out, relax your body. What happens? That emotion gets released, right? Anytime you get very anxious, pay attention to your body, relax your body, and release the physical stress, you will see that you become calmer. And actually, one of the psychologists, a friend of mine who's a Buddhist, we are talking about the people, young people who are out of control and emotionally very badly hurt, or they are on medication. And we were talking one day about this technique, about how body awareness, because when the emotion get triggered, this person have no control of it, get something and throw it away. But we were talking about, ask him to remember to pay attention to the body and breathe into the body and relax the body. And don't worry about what you're feeling. Just pay attention to the body. So what is the trigger? You just snap and turn attention to the body and see where the tension is and try to relax the body. And let the emotion be that way. So what is interesting is that it really works for some people. So one of the practices what we do, as we said, meditation, that helps us to heal and transform, has a part where we cultivate a connection with the body. Learn to deeply relax the body. Learn to go deeper into that body. And release all the physical stress, being consciously present, and use the breath as a tool. Right? And did you feel relaxed when I led you through the exercise today, the physical relaxation? You feel relaxed, right? What happens when the body relaxes? You feel calmer, right? You feel calmer. But you go really deep into a relaxed state, and you feel your mind becomes calmer, and naturally. Because that is why many people are sensitive to different things. Some people get emotional, they get stomach upset. Some people get headache when they get emotional. Some people get heart pain when some people get back pain when they're emotional. So which means that there are sensitive spots that the emotions are affecting physically, how they physically affect. So this what we call Kaya Anupassana. It's important to bring attention to the body, but you are not waiting until things happen that way. But you are training as a daily practice. Get the body into a relaxed state and get the mind into a focused state and be conscious of your thoughts and feelings. We call it 4 foundations of mindfulness, or 4 foundations of conscious awareness. One is called attention of the body, paying attention to body, paying attention to the mental state, paying attention to the feelings or sensations, because they're the sensations, and paying attention to mental constructs, the conceptual part of it. So by paying attention, you begin to feel, when the body begins to relax and release physical stress, when the mind begins to slow down and calm down, that repetitive emotion that will burn into your memory and that triggering that feeling constantly loses its strength and break its cycle. And also bringing that conscious attention to the thoughts and the feelings that get triggered. And you will be able to feel that sitting still, being in the meditative state, letting the mind slow down, being conscious of the thoughts that flow into your mind, you are experiencing healing. Because it happens inside you. What is inside you is not permanently written like in a stone. These are about thoughts and feelings, right? Except these thoughts and feelings or emotions are repetitive and they constantly happen. When you are in a sad state, and it is a repetitive pattern that is constantly going in a circle in your mind, and that is keep you in that sad state. But what happens is also that if you stay in that sad state and you also getting chemically wired in that way, neurologically wired in the brain pathways, because you get wired that way. So which means that if you repeat a thought, neural pathway is connected, so you don't have to think and repeat it, it's going to repeat by itself. But with that point, it is not only an emotional problem, it's also a physical problem, because there is a brain trace of chemicals that are causing this to constantly go in a circle, right? That's why the psychiatrist will give you a pill and normalize the chemical, and you feel good a little bit, and then it goes back again up to normal, up to that one. But this we again, I'm not, don't mistake, I'm not a psychologist or something, I'm just coming to the meditation. And what is interesting is that this is an amazingly effective way for you to be willing to work with yourself and bring a gentleness, bring mindfulness, bring kindness, and bring compassion, and bring forgiveness, bring acceptance. And these things become very easy when the body is relaxed, the mind is calm, and you see something that somebody did some 10 years ago, and you're stuck in it, and you suddenly, what happens in that awareness? You see that feeling rises, and you pay attention to the feeling. We call Vedana Anupassana. You pay attention to that feeling. What happens in that when you pay attention to that? When you pay attention to that, because the feeling is in a repetitive cycle, as long as it avoids your attention. Do you get it? As long as it avoids your attention. But when your conscious attention comes to that feeling, because it's nothing there, it just shows as though it is real, as long as it's hiding behind it. But when I pay attention to it, I consciously see it as the past, nothing is there anymore, it's just the memory, and you see that what that emotion is doing to you in that moment. Am I talking too much, or is this? So when you see that, it is easier for you to just to think, I understand that. It's okay, And when you say it's okay, accept it and feel that there is nothing to forgive there. I just accept it and forgive myself, let go. And when you say that, because what we call it sati, or the mindfulness, when you cultivate that, it goes to what we call panya, or the wisdom. When the wisdom is present, wherever the wisdom is present, there is no pain, there is no suffering, there is no disturbance. When the wisdom is present, where the wisdom is present, there is peace, there is harmony, there is contentment, wherever the wisdom is present. And because all turmoil is triggered by blind reactions, emotional reactions. And so we then go into these 4 foundations of mindfulness, where your body awareness, awareness of the mental states, and awareness of the sensation that get triggered, and awareness of the mental constructs, we call. And by slowly cultivating them, you will begin to feel more confident, feel more ease with yourself, and you feel you are your present is not controlled by the past. Your present is not shaped constantly, influenced and interfered by the past, but your present is attended with conscious awareness. And so we call this, the whole process is the 4 foundations of mindfulness, and how we can bring that into daily life. And actually this we can do even when you don't meditate. And if you, for example, when I do counseling and I'm talking to people, and we will bring attention to that particular issue that person is going through, and help that person to see it in its pure, with pure conscious attention, awareness. Become fully aware, because when the emotion rises, get triggered, the feeling rises, and then that emotion controls everything. You can't step back and look at it. You become that. You become that feeling. You become that sensation. You become that pain constantly. So with sati, we are sharpening our ability to step back and pay attention, so that the feeling is there, but you are not the feeling, and you're not lost in it, and you're not become that. You are able to pay attention to that and allow it to be, and let it just move on, let it move through. And for this we can also do sometimes through some exercises, but as the meditation practice become deeper, and you get it right, you will see that you begin to become more healthier in that way. So as I said, this weekend, so what we are trying to do then is to get all of you to make a commitment to be different. Do you think you can do that? Do you think you're ready to just to be a drastic change, like, you know, in your behavior, where you would say no phone from today? Which means that, okay, I will just touch it, but also watch your feeling when you want to do that. Watch your feelings. How anxious you become if you don't touch the phone and check it in every 10 minutes, right? You see the anxiety that you feel when I watch people all the time. Sometimes, you know, you see that. So, and then other thing is this, that I would like you to think several words for yourself this weekend. For example, kindness, patience, lightheartedness. Okay? Kindness, patience, lightheartedness. So these are the things that I want you to keep in your mind, and during, you know, this retreat. And also, when we do a retreat, and especially this is perfect place. You are here away from everything. That's, although you have driven a long way and now you don't have to worry about it, you're away from everybody and everything, and you can give that space to yourself. But are you able to do it? This is the main thing. Are you able to make some decisions that will help you to be different, that will help you to break these habitual patterns you are doing all the time, repeating, and to break it and be away from it and be slightly different during this time. So, in other words, your thoughts, you have to pay attention, be mindful of your thoughts. So what I suggest, you know, when you do
saranam gacchami